Hello and welcome to my vlog, and I'm going to be talking about e-commerce and focusing on cryptocurrency. But real quick, I've been working all week on my room. Check it out. How nice is that? Anyway, okay, I'll get right into it. So e-commerce is growing. And you can buy almost anything online now. So it's really important to know kind of what your rights or what your responsibilities are as online customers. Of course, we all know Amazon. It's kind of taken over the world, or at least America, for goods and services, or I should say goods. The things that the big e-commerce giants that we don't really know about or deal with in America are Alibaba from China. I personally use Gmarket a lot in South Korea, but there's other, Amazon is trying to get into other markets. But aside from having these giant e-commerce providers, they put people out of business, mom and pop brick and mortar stores, and you can kind of go off on a tangent with the philosophical dilemma of that. But I do want to talk about the cryptocurrency side of e-commerce, specifically Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I own some. I was given some for my wedding. I don't know how much it's worth. It's the code for it is on a CD I was given, and it's somewhere in storage. And I'm just leaving it there because it keeps gaining value, and I really don't know what to do with it. Anyway, Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto in January 2009. And if you know a lot about Bitcoin, you're probably kind of a nerdy person who understands this kind of thing. It is protected by this thing called blockchain, and there are servers around the world that crunch the numbers that keep your bank account safe. It's a very secure currency. And Bitcoin, I think recently, one Bitcoin is like $10,000, and I think I was given an eighth or a tenth of a Bitcoin. So if you even bought one Bitcoin in the way back when it was really low, you've made a lot of money. Now the problem is finding out how to make that into dollars. Anyway, so Bitcoin is these incredibly long codes that protect your money. And the problem with Bitcoin is it's untraceable, and it has been used by drug cartels. ISIS has used Bitcoin. Actually, a Long Island woman, or a woman in New York, was accused of laundering money using Bitcoin for ISIS. I saw that recently, but it's one of those problems. It's hard to describe because it's like, well, what even is Bitcoin? It's a virtual currency, and a company in Utah actually minted actual physical Bitcoins. As a gimmick, I think. But so Bitcoin, it has legitimate uses. My old roommate was an older guy, and he actually bought into Bitcoin big time, and I think it's done really well for him. But it has funded all these really shady things. So drugs, gambling, the terrorism, human trafficking, and pornography, like really illegal pornography, like child pornography. It's one of the sadder sides of this. So it can have a really legit use and a not so legit use. But it goes back to what we were saying in earlier in the book, From the Garden to the City, where it's not the tool that is evil. It doesn't care. It doesn't have morals. It's how you use the tool. Like a gardening hoe could be a great weapon, or it could, help you grow green beans. So Bitcoin is this really interesting case where it's funding all this bad stuff, but it's also being used for legitimate things. It's actually reviving small towns in the East where factories have moved out, because you have to have these big server farms that need a lot of power. So these old factory towns that have the sometimes hydroelectric or coal fire or nuclear power plants close by that can feed large server farms that take a lot of electricity because they need to be cooled, they need to be, they need to run 24/7. Their Bitcoin is actually buying warehouses and places and renting them. And some of these small towns are reviving because of this. So it's kind of a side issue. But Facebook and Google have actually banned cryptocurrency ads because of the connection to not so legitimate things. But other places have really thrived on this. So the small towns on the East Coast and New York are hoping that they have taken up residence there, and they're hoping that Bitcoin will take more. But also the Republic of Georgia in the former Soviet states has started Bitcoin mining, as they call it, mining with these server farms, and they're making like millions of dollars doing this. So that's a niche market, and it's interesting. Venezuela has actually made their own cryptocurrency backed by their oil called the petro, and Iran is thinking about doing the same thing. So whether we'll see where this cryptocurrency thing goes. It's starting to see places that accept Visa, MasterCard, and Bitcoin. But obviously there's things like PayPal. The person who started that is a multi-billionaire. But getting to the part where we need to teach our students, they need to make sure that their transactions are secure. So using a secure transaction middleman like PayPal is a really good idea. Unsecured payments can lead to the theft of your data. And one other thing I want to mention, because this is a bit disjointed, is e-commerce allows you to just stay home and never have to go out, which can be kind of bad and sometimes good. Now you don't have to wait very long for movies to get out of the theater and onto iTunes Movies or Netflix to rent them or buy them in HD. And if you have a home theater, then you can just watch them there. But going out, going to the movies, going shopping, that helps brick and mortar stores. Amazon would not be as big as it is if we didn't have the infrastructure. But Amazon is also needing to catch up with other sites that style their web pages where they sell things like nice stores. You can't just have a blank white page with with stuff and saying how much it is. It has to have a certain style to it. So I've learned a lot of. This is something I've never even thought of, but e-commerce is only going to grow. And if you're hipster, you might disagree with me, but yeah, Bitcoin is, I think, going to grow. Some places are banning it, but I think it's going to be a big thing. And hopefully by the time it is a big thing, I understand what it is. Thanks for watching.